Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis, and I am joined by Sterling, who,
Hello!
as you guys know, is usually my military expert. Well, military historian expert.
Yeah.
Wait, that's correct, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
It's close enough that I'm not going to care.
But today, we got 2 books. Now, Sterling, you play a lot of AOS.
Yeah, I do.
I'm still getting into AOS.
Well, thankfully, you, with your Slaanesh demons, have a brand new army book to play with.
Yeah, but sexy snake ladies.
Well, you know, you can play both. There's nothing saying you can't.
That is very true. Also, the fact that her freaking tail ends in a scorpion stinger.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I love this chimera that's going on right here?
Yeah, the Medusae and the Chimerae are really cool units, and they've got some awesome lore behind them, and this book helps them out a lot. They had troubles in the past.
Yeah.
Being a little pricey, but we'll get to that when we get to it.
So which book are we doing first?
I
think we have to do the new hotness.
Yeah, I think we have to do the new hotness. Yeah, we'll just do Hedonites.
Also, I'm going to say this right now. Missed out on a golden opportunity to call these boys the Hedon Knights. I'm just saying. Just saying.
You know, I like Hedonites. You know, it's close to hedonist, but not quite there.
Yeah.
They really lean into the body horror in this book.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So...
Oh, yeah.
Caution for younger viewers.
Yeah. Oh, and just an FYI, we are going to use they, them pronouns for most of them, because at this point in Slaanesh, they identify as a problem.
Yeah, they identify as a threat.
Alright, so let's crack this one open first.
No knives on YouTube, right?
I don't know. I think we can. Yeah, I think it's fine. Knife it.
Yeah.
Teamwork. Yay! Okay. It is putting up a fight. Okay, that was a lot harder than I expected it to be.
Alright. So, and we do have the old version that came out a little less than 2 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah, just about.
So, we'll be able to compare between them. I didn't catch a ton of differences in the older stuff, but there is the new stuff that we'll touch on.
Yeah, also, just want to point out, the Kanabo that this guy is, or this person is wielding, kind of amazing. They got the whole Japanese demon thing going on, the Onis.
Yeah, they do. They really do. I like it quite a bit, and we'll see a lot of that when we get closer to the, to Gluteus, or Glutos.
Yeah.
Gluteus, the dude who's clearly glutton, the great gourmand.
So, let's crack this thing open. Alright, let's see. Also, you can see all the paint splattered on my hand. As always, I'm always painting. This week, I am painting Exorcists and Sisters of Silence.
I mean, I'm pretty good. I've still got paint on one finger, but, you know, I try.
Do you want to go ahead and read that?
Yeah, sure. To the Hedonites of Slaanesh, the mortal realms are a canvas ripe for their depraved attentions. With each artful blade stroke and clawed caress, they seek to please their deity, the Dark Prince of Chaos. Slaanesh was born from obsession and vice, and the rewards for serving him are both the most exquisite pleasures and blissful agonies. Yet those who earn his favor soon find it to be an ashen feast, an empty chalice, for always more is demanded by this rapacious deity. Driven ever onwards by hungers never to be slaked, the Hedonites take to the battlefield as wild, shrieking carnivals, bringing painful death and eternal torment to any with the misfortune of crossing their path. But all is not well in the Dark Prince's court. Slaanesh's throne sits empty, the god captured by the vengeful elven pantheon. The Hedonites wail at their master's absence, even as they thrill at the intensity of their grief. Some search for Slaanesh, rampaging across the realms at blistering speed in pursuit of clues to his whereabouts. Others seek to attain the mantle of divinity for themselves, attracting throngs of supplicants to sate their egomania, for a time. Then there are those who continue to reave and ravage as they had always done, concerned only with the pursuit of their darkest vices. With each vile act, the Hedonites empower their lost patron, and a day is coming where Slaanesh will be strong enough to reclaim the sinful throne. On that day, the children of the Dark Prince will cavort across the ruins of all that is sane and pure, and usher in an age of divine mania that will last until the stars burn cold. Rejoice, waifs and wastrels! Scream, sinners and supplicants! Cry wanton havoc, and let ecstatic madness reign! For the hedonite hosts come.
Gross. Anyway.
Wow, that was anticlimactic, thanks.
No, that was the climax. Anyway, we now know that Slaanesh, thanks to Morathi, and Morathi pretty much sucking out all of her power, Slaanesh was able to create an avatar of themselves. So to the humans, Slaanesh is a guy. To the Eldar, or the elves. They are a woman sometimes. And to...
everyone else, it depends.
It's they.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always thought that was really cool. And I would love to see, like, Celeste in here trying to take over, Slaanesh's throne and whatever. But,
Yep.
that's
And
me.
with the Morathi book, we have the newborn brought into the lore. So I'm sure that will be hidden somewhere in here.
Yep.
Ooh, look, pretty new models.
Oh my god. If I'm going to build Chaos Space Marines for 40k, I'm just buying these guys. Like, there's no reason to buy Chaos Space Marines anymore. Just buy the AOS stuff and give them a pistol.
I mean, I buy the Chaos Space Marines, but then I put, Horus Heresy Forge-rolled bits on them.
Yeah. Like, that's what I always hated about the Chaos Space Marines. They never appealed to me because it's all like, 90s spiky bad guy. And I'm like, wow. And then you're just like, here's the new hotness on the road in AOS because AOS just has better models. Like, there's no comparison.
Yeah, they're
anymore.
allowed to go crazy, and it leads to some awesome stuff. Like, I don't plan on playing this faction, like, initially.
But you're getting him.
But I'm definitely getting Glutos, because I'm turning the Pelican into a terrain piece, and I am taking these two big mutants, and I'm turning them into Chaos Spawn.
Yep, definitely. Alright, so... Now, we could go through all the lore, but I feel like that's another video. Oh my god, look at that artwork.
It would take some time.
I love this look. This is still one of my favorite looks. Like, look at that.
Oh, yeah, the Sybarite twin souls.
Where it's like, they have the demonic horns, they have the cut open mouth. This looks like something that would come after you in, like, Silent Hill.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think that's kind of the vibe that, like, Slaanesh has always gone for, it's... Yeah.
Well, because everyone's like, oh, Slaanesh should be sexy like the 1 Diaz models. And yes, I have a lot of 1 Diaz models, and half of them are sexy. The other half are okay, and there's only 7 models for each different thing.
Yeah.
So they get repetitive really fast. If 1 Diaz actually designed like a demon prince, I would like to see it.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Oh my god, that is some
yes.
beautiful artwork.
The Carnival of Horror artwork.
Wow, that is exquisite.
There is a high-resolution version of this art on the Warhammer community page where they talk about the army book.
I want this as a tattoo running down my arm.
Oh, yeah, right? Like, their art direction is just so cool. And I love that they're starting to add a lot more of these just grayscale kind of sketches to the books, because it reminds me of way back in yonder days where it's like, okay, here's all the Chaos Space Marines, and it's like, oh, that's an Iron Warrior's wearing a Beastman. Like,
yeah,
there's an actual Batman as a Night Lord. Like, those old zany, like, cartoony things. And I feel like I get a lot of that here.
Also, I like that it's a Slangor's head.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. Oh my god.
I love that the little servant is riding one of the mutants. Like, they're all just having a picnic. Like, this is just wholesome.
It is. It really is. This art, sorry, this made it for me. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, page 14, 15. Like, it's so nice.
Alright, but let's try to get to...
Yeah, so this is all
this artwork too,
these are all the lore sections for each of the sub-factions. So we've got the Invaders, we have the Pretenders. So the Invaders are the people who are just continually ravaging. The Pretenders are the people who are trying to take over Slaanesh's throne.
Jerks. Got it.
So, yeah. And then you have the Godseekers. The Godseekers, for those of you who saw our Dire Chasm video, like, the Godseekers include that team. They are the individuals chasing all over the place, trying to find where Slaanesh could be kept, or where they have escaped to.
Oh, that's fair.
So, yeah. Like, I like that, like, Slaanesh gets, like, 3 unique weird versions of sub-factions. It's not like, oh yeah, this is the Khorne sub-faction that's all about killing.
Also,
This is the Khorne sub-faction that's all about killing.
That's really cool. It's
Yeah.
6.
Yep, the Dark Prince stirs.
Look at the artwork. So, this is the one thing I hate.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the Sister of Battle artwork versus looking at their artwork.
Yeah.
There's such a monstrous difference. It's not even funny. Like, the Sister of Battle artwork in the newest codex looks like garbage. Like, it looks terrible.
I think that's just something you kind of see a lot, is there's not a lot of art direction given into 40k codexes.
Yeah.
Except for when they're like
Space
super
Marines.
limited edition, or, well, not even the Space Marine one, because you look at those and like, I would love like a Space Marine codex that looks like old Gregorian monk illuminated script.
That would be
Like,
really
I'd love
cool.
that. Like, give me a Adeptus Mechanicus rulebook that is just like there's a binary version that you can get. Like, I
That-
would lose my mind.
Like, even if it was like 3 times the cost because of how big it would be.
Oh yeah, it would be like Encyclopedia Britannica. But if you don't think I wouldn't bust that thing out at every opportunity, you're wrong.
Look, it says it right here.
1100. Just lose your mind.
All right, but oh my god, I love this.
Ah, man.
So this fight was interesting. So they beat the ever-living piss out of them to the point where they needed to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And if you read it from Slaanesh's point of view, they won.
Yeah.
If you read it from the Khorne point of view, it was a tie.
Mm-hmm.
Selesky just absolutely bodied him.
Is it Shaleski or Shalaxi?
So it's supposed to be chillax, like
Okay.
the old 90s saying.
Sure, yeah.
So it is Salask.
Okay.
Salaski.
Alright, Shalaski Hellbrain.
Yeah, because there's Slaanesh or Salask,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's Salaski or Chillaxi. And speaking of the Slaanesh,
Yeah,
I love these two.
Look at them. They're just happy.
Yeah, they are. I really want the damn mirror to go to a freaking elite choice instead of an HQ, but that's just me, and that's not going to happen. I know that's not going to happen. Let's try to get to
Deep
some
breaths. Deep breaths.
At least in 40k. Oh my god, look at that. That looks so good. And they look so cute. Like, I always imagine whenever they put out their tongues, it's the Yoshi noise, you know, blum.
Oh my lord.
Like, every time they lick something.
Sure, yeah.
Blum,
Blum.
blum, blum,
So
blum.
whenever they're running, they go,
Whenever they jump. The Fiend
see.
artwork always looks really cool. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the guy who did the person who did the artwork in this book has to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I've gotten that vibe a lot from a lot of the recent artwork.
Yeah, this is definitely, like, I would have this tattooed on my body.
Yeah, and like I was saying, it's like, I think that's it harkening back to, like, the old days where they were still trying to find their, like, art style and design style for everyone.
Where they had, like, 400 different artists.
Yeah, where it was just like, alright, throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, what looks cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Glutos.
That looks like something out of Darkest Dungeon.
It really is, and, like, Glutos is... I actually think he's kind of a cool character, so we'll get to his rules here in a minute, but he's not a demon. Like, despite what you may think, because, you know, tentacles, horns, like, the whole nine, like, he is a mortal, but he has a deal with a Slaanesh demon. And the demon gives him power for every, like, gratuitous excess he, like, perpetrates. So he has to, you know, he's got this constant hunger going on, and that's why he, like, gallivants around. He's, what was it, the Grand Gourmand is his title.
That's amazing.
It's just, he is the world's most vicious food critic. Like, he's just sitting there, it's like, I'm, like, fairly certain that's a foot he's about to eat whole.
Yep.
Like, that looks like a kidney to me.
I don't know what this
He's
is.
smoking a hookah. That's just an aperitif of beans, as far as I'm aware.
It's just regular old beans.
It's strictly brown M&Ms. The truest form of decadence. 5 pounds of brown M&Ms.
I mean, it could be Starburst.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not
They're just
sponsored.
one of my favorite candies.
Yeah. Oh, and for everyone who hasn't caught up on the lore, these staves, you'll start seeing them pop up a lot of places now. This is shade glass. This is the material that was used to help in the trapping of Slaanesh. It is what everyone has been fighting over back in the Shadespire season of Underworlds. Like, this is how they communicate with their god.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, so there's a unit who, like, all she does is she carries a big one of these around onto the battlefield, and Slaanesh, like, imbues presenting feminine they, like, gives them power through that, so.
That's really cool. All right. But where are the actual rules in this?
Oh, you gotta keep going. Yep.
I love that he has assless chaps on.
It's Sigvald the Magnificent, not Sigvald the, I'm not gonna go all out.
Yeah. The fact that he has assless chaps just makes me happy.
Yep. There is the Lord of Pain.
Slangors.
This art is just... Like, when I saw this art piece all blown up and everything, when they did the history of Beastmen, because I played Beastmen ages ago, and the idea of, like, Zangors and Slangors being added to, like, Poxgors and Korngors was just, you were lunacy to think about it. So it's fun to know that, like, 30 years, I think it's like 31 years, since Slangors were originally teased in some lore, now you have models for them. And the models look really good. I actually really like their rule set, too. Like, I think they have, like, a fun place to play in all the armies that can take them.
I agree.
Yeah.
And we have this beautiful army, the Slaanesh, the Hedonites versus the Holy Cows.
Yep.
You know, I'm at the point where I can't even remember their names.
Lumineth Realm Lords. Or the Divine Bovines.
God, did they really name themselves the Lumineth?
The Lumineth. They're from the realm of light. Lumens. This is the first picture, I want to point out, where we actually see Sigvald next to a Keeper of Secrets. There was a lot of folks, myself included, who, when we saw the original picture for Sigvald that they put out online, he was set up on the same stage that the Keeper of Secrets was on when it was previewed. Mm-hmm. And so everyone was like, oh, he's going to be Keeper of Secrets sized.
No, he's about Demon Prince size.
Yeah, he's Dreadnought sized, and his price reflects that. I think he's only like $50.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get him just for Demon Prince of Slaanesh.
Yeah, Demon Prince of Slaanesh. You know, the occasional Fulgrim cosplay.
Yeah, or just run him as Fulgrim since he looks better than Fulgrim.
Yeah,
like 100 times better than the Fulgrim model that looks like trash.
I mean, the Fulgrim model from Forge World for the Horse Heresy is like what, 7 years old now?
Yeah, and it's also like 100 times more expensive.
Oh, yeah, prohibitively so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you want fun conversions for Fulgrim, 40k folks, like, Sigvald's your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Sigvald and Marathi kit. We've all seen the Kit Bash, like, Photoshop mock-up online.
Yep.
That's what you do. But yeah. Alright.
Hey, there's Sigvald.
Yep.
Okay, so model showcase. These look absolutely terrific. Like,
Yeah.
I have like 90 Seekers. I'm probably going to buy more. The Slangors look incredible. There's the Warcry team.
Yep.
I honestly think he's the worst looking Slangor.
Yeah, Slake Slash, I don't know. I kind of like how Slake Slash looks, but it is important to note that Slake Slash, if you're going to use them as a proxy model, as just a normal Slangor, they have to be the unit leader. And we'll get to that in a second, but yeah, I think they look pretty cool. Although I like this color scheme a lot more than I like the one that they show everywhere else. Like, I love the crisp black armor with the red talons. Like, that just looks really cool.
Also, I do like that they're showing multiple skin tones. That's just me.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I mean, that's why I always liked this model when they started previewing it all painted. Let's see. The mask.
Ooh, that's a cool color scheme, too.
That is cool. That, like, off-white, like, fleshy skin tone with the teal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, GW. Like, some of the studio schemes look a little weird. But this is why I always tell people, it's like, yeah, you can get the app, but the book is really great because you can get so much inspiration from the book that you would never see otherwise.
Same with the White Dwarfs. Like, that's what's really good about the White Dwarfs.
Like, I don't know how many conversions or color schemes I've pulled from a White Dwarf just because it was like, oh, that looks really cool. I wonder if I could do that on mine. Yeah,
like the fact that I'm going to be playing Spears of the Emperor because they're Gaelic. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Alright. So, Celeste.
God,
More
Keeper of
keepers.
Secrets. And Demonettes are definitely starting to show their age.
Yeah, they definitely are. I was just about to say, it's like, I would love to see a line update for all of the demon core choices.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen until they get a 40k release, I can imagine, but we'll see.
This model is still a nightmare.
The fiends are still a nightmare to build.
Oh my god, why is their head split?
Why is the head split? Why is the torso in 4 pieces? We could go on and on.
That's hideous. I hate that.
That just looks kind of sickly, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy for thinking that. That one's kind of cool. I may be biased because I have a Jormungandr.
Yeah, I like this one and this one.
Yeah, the Allure of Porcelain Princedom. That one's kind of cool. Alright, so, to gore and excess. So, here's your army overview. Again, these are just suggestions for different things you can do with the army before you actually get to the paints.
Okay, so do you see this?
Yeah.
You could pretty much skip all of this, which is the contrast Magus purple.
Yeah.
And just get right to there immediately.
Contrast Magus purple. Yeah, the Demonette hair too. It's it's Vulpus, and then I dry brush Prixetti white, and I get the same effect.
I do corn blood and then dry brush orange.
Yep, there you go. And here we go. So I was really excited about this page when I saw them start previewing it, because it's just, hey, here's all the different variants that you can do. Because there's nothing worse as a hobbyist and a painter when it's man, I would love to get a weird different shade. And then you have to experiment, you end up ruining some models, you waste money. So it's always nice to just get these lists of hey, this is how we got this effect, here's everything you need.
Yeah, I do like that they did this.
Yeah.
There's the classic purple hair of Slaanesh.
I would love if they took all of the painting tips and everything and compiled them into one book.
Yeah.
And just sold that as a separate thing.
They used to do that.
They used to do it with, what was it? Forge World had a masterclass paint series for a while of books. And those were really nice, but now you can't find them anymore.
Because every time I try to watch a painting tutorial that isn't Duncan, it's always look at this model that I heavily edited in Photoshop or Video Editor, and it's just I don't like that.
Here's my pure white light that I have in my studio setup. Yeah.
Or they use a black light, and it's just well, I can't tell what the model looks like, and then you actually see a picture of it on the table, and it looks horrible.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody does neon effects, the neon on guns and everything, and you're wow, that looks really cool. Until you see it in a different background, and you're just wow, that looks really out of place.
Yeah, it really does. Let's see. I like that silver armor recipe. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah, down to purple and then back up. I may have to use that one of these days. All sorts of different things for the Sybarites, for Sangors.
Again, different skin tones. I love that they did this.
And
also, this reminds me of the Spinosaurus.
And they started adding bases, which I was good job, GW.
Yeah.
The newer codexes have started having base tips in them, and that's always something that, scares folks out. Alright, so, here we go. Rules. Here's all the fun rules.
Yay!
Are you ready, Alexis? Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Are you ready?
I hope so.
Okay, cool.
My body is ready.
It better be. This is Slaanesh. Come on.
My body is not ready.
I was not prepared. Alright, so you've got your hosts. Hosts are just your sub-faction. So, Invaders, Pretenders, and Godseekers. You must pick one. If you don't, you can't get any of their abilities. So, you can choose to just play, a generic non-existent one, but these are the 3 that actually get extra rules and everything. Locus of Diversion, this was a pain when Hedonites first came out. This is the I am a demon hero, I'm going to choose that you do not get to fight. So you would have multiple Keepers of Secrets charging in, they would lock down the enemy's battle line, and as long as you kept rolling well, your opponent just didn't get to do anything. It's the Sylvaneth version of Stomp.
I remember this because it was the reason why Keepers of Secrets, the 5 keeper list, won every single tournament.
Yeah. It's the fact that, you don't get to pile in, so if the Slaanesh player gets the charge off, you're getting maybe 5 of your 20-man group to fight.
Yep.
And you don't get to pile in, so that's all you're getting until the next turn. And this is Age of Sigmar, so double turn is a thing you might have to encounter. And they can just do it again, if that's the case. Euphoric Killers, this is... like,
Oh, so what does this do now?
Oh, it's same thing. It's just now it's on a 4-up. The unit can't. If you are a Greater Demon, so if you're a Keeper, you add 1 to the dice roll, so Greater Demons get it on a 3. Everybody else gets on a 4 or higher. But you do have to be a Demon Hero.
Okay, so like a Keeper, Secrets, Demon Prince, and stuff like that?
Sigvald.
Sigvald, yeah.
Yep. Euphoric Killers, so whenever you roll a 6... unmodified to hit roll of 6, you get 2 hits instead of 1.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, if you have 20 or more models in a unit, you get 3 hits instead, though.
Oh, so there's actually a reason to bring Demonettes in this.
Yeah, there's a huge reason to bring Demonettes in Hedonites.
Or at least their version, the human versions of them.
And there's now a fixed version of Feast of Depravity. Feast of Depravity is the blood point system, the magic cast system, the plague system from the other demons, just updated for Slaanesh. So, once you're done with your turn, so after the Battle Shock phase, you get 1 Depravity point, DP for short, for each unit on the battlefield.
That's what DP stands
that's
for.
That's 100% what DP stands for.
Okay,
yes.
So whenever somebody would ask me that, that's what... Okay.
Yes,
I always thought it was Demon Prince.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, would you like some Depravity points?
Ah.
It's like, oh yes, I would love some Depravity points.
Gotcha.
I need 12 Depravity points for a Keeper of Secrets. Yeah.
That makes sense.
There you go.
It's definitely not an innuendo.
100% not an innuendo.
Okay.
It's completely innocent nerd gaming term.
Ah, gotcha. Like SOB. Sisters of Battle.
Sisters of Battle,
Everyone knows
yeah.
that.
STD, Slaves to Darkness.
Oh, yeah.
But so, anyways, so you get the points for every unit that lost a wound. As long as it wasn't negated, you gain a Depravity point. This was worded really strangely when it first came out, to where you couldn't get Depravity points by killing 1 wound models.
Okay.
So that's been fixed. Like, everything's all set, good to go. At the end of your movement phase is when you do all your summoning in Age of Sigmar, using all these systems. So for Depravity points, for 12 points, you can take a Keeper of Secrets.
God, they need to add this to 40k.
Or 30 Demonettes. Well, and here's the thing I like about these versions of summoning, because you can still summon normally. Like, you can reserve points out of your list and then bring people onto the battlefield. But when you have, like, the Depravity point system or the Blood Tithe system, it's like, I'm not having to reserve points out of my army to, like, be flexible, Like,
you lose a 30-woman unit, you immediately resummon, like, a Keeper or something.
Yeah, if I have the points. Which getting the points could be, like... It could be kind of tricky. However, you do count your models that lost wounds and your opponent's models that lost wounds for Depravity points.
For instance, if I have 30 girls on the field...
30 girls on the field,
they get mowed down.
They all die in one go. You get 1 Depravity point.
Just 1?
Just 1, because it's based off the unit.
Okay, so it's units that die.
It's unit, yeah.
Okay, so...
What matters is that a model took a wound in that unit.
Okay, so if I have, like, 6 units and all took 1, I have 6?
Yeah.
Ooh. So minimum squad size.
You want to kill your opponent by bits and pieces, or get killed by bits and pieces, and that's kind of the opposite of what you see in the Blood Tithe for Khorne. In Khorne, they care about when the unit is destroyed. So in Khorne, you want minimum size units, because if your Blood Reavers run off and get killed, okay, that's fine. They just, blood for the Blood God. Here's my Bloodthirster when I need him. In Slaanesh, you're going to want larger size units, because the more turns that your unit can take wounds, the more Depravity points you can get from that unit.
And you get them while killing your opponent as well?
Yeah, while killing your opponent as well. So,
okay,
big squads, steamroll over an enemy unit, okay, cool, I gain, like, a Depravity point. One of, like, my guys, gals, they, thems, eats it on the charge in, cool, I get a Depravity point.
And it's each phase?
It's at the end of the turn, at the end of the turn for the Battle Shock. So
otherwise that'd be a little bit busted.
It'd be a little bit busted, but you are playing Slaanesh, so you're one of the few Chaos armies that has the ability to play in each phase. You have things that can deal mortal wounds in the hero phase, like everybody does. You have things that can deal mortal wounds in the movement phase, in the charge phase, in the shooting phase, in the fight phase, and in the battle shock phase as well. So you have multiple instances to get a depravity point off on a unit, and then if your goal is just get a depravity point, you now know that you can shift your focus to somebody else.
Ooh.
So, yeah. But always remember, you have to summon with the depravity points next to a Slaanesh hero, so mortal or demon, but you have to end up fully within 12 of that hero/demon, and more than 9 away from your opponent.
Okay.
So
do you think they went with DP on purpose?
I honestly don't think they did. I think that's just like, what else are you going to call it?
So do you want to hear something funny?
Okay.
So when 40K, when Forge World first released the update for 8th edition for Slaanesh Demons,
Yeah.
Selesky was on page 69.
Yeah, I kind of believe that.
No,
I
Zarakniel.
believe like something like that could be intentional.
Yeah. You definitely
honestly,
know they did that on purpose.
Somebody knew the joke, but I don't know if whoever greenlit it knew the joke.
Oh god, no. They're probably just some old person sitting there. So what do we got? We got a Keeper Secrets for 12, 30 Demonettes for 12, Secret Chariot for 10, 20 Demonettes for 10.
3 Secret Chariots for 10.
Oh, 3 Secret Chariots. Oh my god.
Chariots. You can get the Contorted Epiphany. You can get Bladebringer, which is the Herald on the Chariot. Those both come in at 9. Fiends are worth 3. It's 3 Fiends for 8 points. Bladebringer Herald on a Hellflayer is only 8 points. Then what? It's 7 for an Exalted Chariot, the Infernal Enraptress, the Herald on Seeker Chariot, and the Hellflayer. And then we have the Vice Leader, Herald of Slaanesh. I don't remember which one that one is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Seeker Chariot, 5 Seekers, and 10 Demonettes for 6. So if you really need 10 Demonettes, sure, you can, for 6 like DP points, go for it. But if you can just hold out a little bit longer, you can get 3 times as much for double the price. So
also, I just want to point out that 6 to 12 is really funny, especially with DP. There's a lot of jokes.
There's
in there.
a lot of tongue-in-cheek jokes. All right, Invaders. So this one is like, you kind of saw this one get played a lot in previous iterations of Hedonites, mainly for their battle trait, Figureheads of the Dark Prince. This is I took 3 Keepers of Secrets. They are all my general.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fair.
Yeah. However, like, what is it? You have to. However, none of your generals can use a command trait. Yeah, that's right, because they're all arguing with each other all the time.
That makes sense.
So if they are within 12 of each other, you can't spend command points and you can't use command abilities from your generals.
And I like to play mine really close.
Yeah, like you don't death ball in Invaders, but you kind of get to, get around that by just spreading everybody out. Because you are one of the fastest factions in Age of Sigmar.
You're one of the fastest factions in 40k, too.
Yeah, but being...
And 30k.
But being fast is much more important in Age of Sigmar than it is in 40k.
That is very true.
Because there are not a lot of guns in Age of Sigmar. The factions that do have them are like the Caradron Overlords who... Yeah, you have to kill their boat in one go or it's just going to fly away from you. So yeah, you've got like all your standard command traits, all your other battle traits.
If you really need, just pause it here, take a look, read them for yourself. Okay, there you go, you did it.
There you go. There's one that not many of these have changed. I did notice that the Illusions of Infallibility is you get 2 wounds added to your general instead of the 1 that it used to give. So that's kind of cool. You have all your standard, like, artifacts of power. And again, these tables are, like, randomized, but in Age of Sigmar, you don't have to randomize. You can just pick.
Okay. So it's kind of like 40k in that aesthetic.
Yeah, very much so. Like, the random tables are certainly fun, but you don't have to do it. The only way to get extra artifacts, however, is to bring more battalions. You get 1 artifact per battalion.
Okay.
And no one can carry more than 1 artifact, which is a rule in 40k too. So.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, except for the Space Wolves who can do it now.
Well, I mean, they're Space Wolves. They needed some help. All right, Pretenders. Yeah, they're not much has changed here either. They've got like some new stuff though. Things like the Supreme Sybarite Battalion. But that one like must include only one Slaanesh hero instead of the normal 3 to 6.
Ooh, that doesn't sound good.
No, it's actually really good because your battalions in Age of Sigmar cost points.
Okay.
So if a battalion costs, I'll just sneakily look real quick. Okay, so let's say the Supreme Sybarites. Yeah, you need 3 to 6 heroes for that battalion.
Okay.
If I'm taking that battalion, I either want because I need extra heroes in my army, or because I want extra artifacts in my army. These guys turn it into, okay, you only need to buy one Slaanesh hero, and you get an extra artifact. As opposed to buy 3 Slaanesh heroes and get an extra artifact.
Okay.
So this is your like quick and easy way to just get tons of artifacts into your system, and then just start throwing it on all the characters. Like if you want an extra, because it's just Slaanesh hero, doesn't say demon, doesn't say mortal. So yeah, throw it on it. Just bring a keeper, bring a spare keeper, and make sure they always have their own artifact because they brought their battalion with them.
All right, that makes sense.
It'll cost you like 100-something extra points, but most artifacts are worth it. But yeah, this is the, like, everyone is trying to be a all-powerful badass in this faction. This is the one where your heroes are really going to be doing most of the legwork. So if you like playing...
So this would be how I play Slaanesh.
This is 100% the faction I'd recommend for you for playing Slaanesh. Like, and you've got a playable Slaanesh army. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a thing we're going to have to do. But Pretenders, I think, is the way to go, just because you get to bring all your big dumb characters.
I love some big dumb characters.
You get to give them all the big dumb artifacts.
I do really like some big dumb artifacts.
Yeah. And then, you get fun command traits. Like, yeah, you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by this general while there are no other friendly units within 6 of them.
So if I just long palm a demon prince into something...
Yeah, it just rerolls everything.
Nice.
So yeah, and rerolls in AOS are pretty rare. It is unusual to get rerolls. You'll often get a +1 or a +2. Rerolls, however, are very hard to come by. So just getting one on your demon who's, this is the other thing. If the general is a hero, they have 2 different command traits instead of 1. So that plus something else.
Ooh, that actually could be really good.
Yeah. And you get to reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Pretenders units that have 10 or more models while your general is on the battlefield. So, bring a big horde of demonettes. They get 3 hits instead of 1 on every 6 they roll, as long as there's more than 20 of them. So, you're good there. Then, they get to reroll 1s just for existing while your general is alive. And your general gets 2 command traits.
Okay, then.
And an artifact.
That sounds dirty as hell. I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do in Pretenders. Godseekers, they're all about going fast.
Gotta go fast.
Just add 1 to charge rolls.
I haven't seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Don't worry about it. Neither have I.
Yeah, they're making a second one.
So we're gonna have to see it?
Probably.
I mean, Jim Carrey is in it.
I'm pretty sure he single-handedly held that movie together. Anyway, back to this.
Ask people for their opinions on Sonic the Hedgehog in the comments. Do you want to see Alexis and I watch Sonic the Hedgehog?
That would be a really good,
That would be so stupid, but we could do it.
Well, what we could do is we could stream it in Discord.
That's true.
And we could do a movie
that
where everyone watches it and has the same timestamp we do, so they're all watching it on their selective stream services and we're just talking through it.
If you want to see that happen, just put Sonic with 3 exclamation points in the comments, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Godseekers, go fast. Go fast all day. Some of their relics are a little lackluster, just once per battle, gain 1 command point.
Oh.
It's you gain 1 just for existing, so yay, I gained 2. It could be really clutch. Is it worth an artifact slot?
Probably not.
Because In Age of Sigmar, you get to pick what realm you're from whenever you build your army list, and each realm has different magical artifacts. So I could get 1 extra command point once per game for one of my artifact slots. Or I could say, hey, I'm from the realm of fire, and I'm going to take a cloak that lets my Keeper Secrets have the fly keyword, and I'm just going to ignore terrain and enemy models.
They need to put that in 40k.
I feel like it's coming one day. One day. But anyways, I will say this, though.
Everything is
You do get Speed Chaser as one of your command traits, and this one's really fun, especially if you deal mortal wounds on charge. Because retreat and charge, retreat, charge, it can be real silly. Especially since now you have shooting units in Slaanesh.
That one looks good.
So, which one? The Sweeping Slash?
Yeah, 2+ D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah. Like, that's pretty handy. Lots of heavy cav in this game have similar rules. Gore-gruntas deal 1 mortal wound on a 4-up for every Gore-grunta who ends in charge within an inch of an enemy model.
That just sounds good.
Like, it's really good. This is just, oh yeah, no, my big old demon or my... I mean, honestly, you could take this on the chariot and have mortal wounds on charge and mortal wounds on charge. So, lots of options. Spells. It's not all the crazy psychic powers that you know in 40k.
Yeah, aren't they ridiculous?
It's a whole different set. Basic rules still apply. You only get to cast one version of a spell once unless you have something that breaks that rule. And there's not many factions that do. I think Tzeentch can do it, and Lumineth Realm Lords can do it. And technically Ossiarch Bone Reapers, but that's beside the point.
Ozzy Osbourne Bone Reapers?
Yeah, the Bone Daddies.
Yeah.
You know.
Ozzy Osbourne Bone Daddies.
The Jack Skellington faction.
Rattle me bones. Why is everything more interesting than the Sigmarines?
Oh man, we can do a whole video on that just separate, but I'll keep my thoughts to myself for now and just say, like, Sigmarines were more of the same, but everything else in Age of Sigmar is just kind of bonkers. So, I think that's part of it. It's like, yeah, here's this, like, very plain vanilla faction, and then here's a bunch of grots who follow, like, a literal moon that flies through the cosmos, and their king has mushrooms growing into his head, and he's crazy, but he's kind of right. Like, that's just gloom spites. That's not even talking about, like, oh yeah, no, I tackled a giant spider and let it bite me so that I could see visions from Gork and Mork. Like, by the way, that spider, yeah, it tunnels through reality. Like,
yep.
Yeah, there's just so much weird stuff in Age of Sigmar that you kind of, like...
Just accept.
Just accept it and move on with your life.
They could so do that for 40k.
They could, but the edge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everyone who plays 40k listens to Linkin Park and Papa Roach.
Okay, I'm feeling a little attacked.
Look, I do too, so... I did include everyone.
That's fair, that's fair. Now, let's keep going, because, you know, we're only 5 minutes to midnight. Sorry, I had to try and sneak a Linkin Park reference in. Okay, spell lores. You have different lores depending on what you are. So if you're a demon wizard, you get the lore of Slaanesh. A wizard, yes. However, if you are a Gudda, a greater demon, you get forbidden sorceries. Ooh. And then you get the lore of pain and pleasure, which is for the mortals only.
Why does it sound like the mortals have more fun?
Well, I mean... You know, you're not into the relationship with Slaanesh yet. You're still just, like, finding yourself. You're exploring all the things that you like. Like, you get to have that fun. By the time you're, like, a demon, greater demon, you're kind of locked into your tastes and preferences, you know? Like, you've done it all. You got the t-shirt. You're kind of bored.
That's fair.
You know? So, yeah, a lot of these are really fun. So, you have a power that can let Keeper Secrets just fly.
That's amazing.
On a casting value of 7, and as in, like, 40k, casting is done on a 2d6.
Yep. And 2d6 average is 7. A 1d6 average is 3.7.
Yeah, it's almost 4.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, it's that weird, you have a 16% chance of rolling any dice face. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's why I like D20 systems. Everything's a 5% jump.
Yep.
But anyways, so yeah, there's lots of fun stuff here. Some of the big winners is obviously like get your Demon Prince to fly, jump over that, Cities of Sigmar gun line and kill the general.
Yep.
I also like where was it? Dark Delusions is actually quite fun and quite good because it only has a casting value of 4.
Oh, so it's almost an automatic.
It's almost an automatic. We'll see later that Glutos gets a chance to get +1 to his casting rolls,
So
and
he gets it automatically.
And he can re-roll.
Yeah, so he gets it.
So he'd get this if he wanted it. So you pick an enemy unit within 18, and then you roll 2d6. If the roll is equal to or greater than the unit's bravery characteristic, you add 1 to hit rolls for attacks that target that unit until the end of your next hero phase.
So you're hitting on 2s.
So yeah, you could pretty easily hit on 2s, and this is really good for like clearing out blobs and guaranteeing that like, hey, I have to get through that like mob of squigs who are all sitting there at like bravery 6 or 5. Like goblins and Skaven, just like all the chaff units. You hit them with this, and even
I like how Skaven are considered like the norm at this point.
Yeah, you don't think about Skaven too hard. Like the Skaven are the de facto like, yeah, these guys are just kind of bad, but. Then, a storm, Storm Vermin comes out of nowhere and just Gatling guns your face off, so...
Yep.
There's that. But yeah, I think those two are probably my personal favorites, but I like playing Slaves of Darkness and stuff like that.
Or Phantasmagoria.
Yep, Phantasmagoria.
And Purveyne of Slaanesh, that's one that is in both systems. Hysterical Frenzies in both systems.
Yep. There was one other one that I was going to look at. Oh yeah, the Slothful Stupor.
I love this one's name.
Which one is that? The Born of Damnation?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty good.
That's a really cool name.
So Slothful Stupor is the old fantasy stupidity rule.
That's amazing.
You can choose an enemy hero within 12. It's got a casting value of 7. And then until your next hero phase, so it could be your turn and their turn, that hero cannot use command abilities and cannot run or attempt to charge.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's really good. Like, if you don't get the double turn, okay, fine. Their general potentially just doesn't get to do anything.
For 2 turns.
Yeah, for 2 turns. Like, unless they have a shooting attack. Shooting attack and fighting are not disallowed in this, so if it's a ranged character or a commander that just gives out buffs by existing, not the best target for this. But, like
a corn unit.
Yeah, or,
this.
like, if you look at Destruction, because I have a giant, like, Orc War clan, you target my Mega Boss on Maw Crusher with this, and now my Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, who doesn't really have, like, a shooting attack that's worth really planning around, I don't get to WOG, I don't get to charge, I don't get to trigger Destructive Bulk, and that's potentially for 2 turns that I'm just kind of sitting there. And that lets you just handle everybody else.
Jeez.
And on a 7, it's pretty doable.
Yeah, average 2d6.
And it's on a Keeper of Secrets because it's Greater Demon only, so you're going to be within 12 of
First
like an
turn.
enemy hero pretty easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's that. And then we're into the rules. All the rules.
Woo!
Every little bit of rules. So you have your terrain piece. The scenery, sorry, they changed how like they're described. So it is an obstacle, so you can't run over it. Shocking, I know, right? It's this giant treasure pile with a giant mirror on it. Important distinction, because I know we're still getting you into Age of Sigmar, so like there's probably some folks out there who don't know like this fun little fact about Age of Sigmar. If you have a terrain piece for your faction, it doesn't cost you points.
Wait, what? That's awesome.
It doesn't cost you points. It doesn't take up a slot in your army. You just can...
Oh, I wish I had that for sisters.
You get to take one. And almost all of them are things that you'll take because it does something for your faction and it's free. So every battlefield looks cool. Some factions, mine included, don't have individual terrain pieces. But, and this is even in the like tournament rules, if you don't have like a faction-specific scenery piece, you can take some of the generic pieces.
Okay.
So, like, I take Baleful Realm Gates. Why? Because I like teleporting orcs across the battlefield through portals.
It's fair. And that's only in tournaments. It's not like a casual play
No,
thing.
it's a casual thing, too.
Oh, okay.
It's like you always have the option to build the table however you want, but you can choose to have part of your army include a scenery.
Ooh, nice.
You know, and they're just usually good. Let's see. Like, here's some of the things. So, you can summon your depravity point demons from the Fane. You can... There's some other things, too. Oh, yeah, you can have one of your heroes take a mortal wound, and then you get to roll a dice. On a 2-up, you add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by that hero until your next hero phase.
That sounds pretty good.
If you have an artifact, however, you don't take the mortal wound. You can ditch the artifact if you want. And if you do so, the artifact's power can't ever be used again. But that's still kind of cool.
It's kind of cool because you're adding it to the pile of gold.
Yeah. Which, there's nothing saying that you can't use that once per battle relic that gives you only 1 command point. Like, so, okay, I took this thing. I gained the command point. I then throw it on the pile. And charge off into the battle. So, yeah, the Fane's pretty cool. It's got all of its normal keywords. They always include, just like in 40k, the fluffy theme battles. So this is, I believe this is when some Medusae are tracking down some Hedonites.
Yeah, this is the Pleasure and Pain box, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the Pleasure and Pain box. Important to note, this Chaos Lord of Pain, he is coming in his own individual box next week at time of recording when everything releases, so he will be individually available.
Yep.
So if you did get a chance to get Shadow and Pain, never fear, like, you can still get the unique character in it. It's not like it has been in the last, like,
Every single box for
3 years
40K?
3 years of 2-player boxes, and then they started coming out with individual blisters and boxes for the heroes that were in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many sets of, like, Loon Curse I bought just to get all my, my Loon bosses on Squigs. Like, and then they came out as their own independent set. So, let's see. This is for when you're fighting Sigmarines.
Woo!
And, yeah, woo. Woo. Path to Glory. Path to Glory is your, essentially, Crusade version of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's actually quite a bit of fun. I still prefer Warcry, but that's just because if I'm doing, like, a fun skirmish where I have to keep track of, like, everybody's stats and everything they did.
Yeah, you play Warcry.
I like having fewer models to worry about, but it's still really cool. It's especially fun for whenever you are building a collection for the first time, because it gives you this handy table to let you roll for what you collect.
Okay.
So if you and a bunch of friends want to get together and you want to start playing Age of Sigmar, tell your friends about Path to Glory, because it's as simple as buy your book, pick which type of hero you want, and start rolling for things that you get added to your retinue. And then you can start playing games, and then you're collecting in a very, like, reasonable fashion, as opposed to coming in, dropping $700 on a brand new army, and then taking 6 months to build it.
Yep.
This can just be like, hey, I spent $30 on a hero, I spent $60 on a unit, and I spent $40 on the book.
Yeah, so it's under 100.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little over 100.
Yeah, you're at 130 before taxes and stuff. But you can always find deals at your friendly local game stores. Like, I even know here at Games U, we're usually willing to wheel and deal and, like, help people get started on armies, because it's good for our business to see new players come in.
Yeah.
So never be afraid. The worst thing a shop can tell you about, like, deals, is just no. And honestly, a lot of the time that answer will change if you go into your friendly local game store and you, like, become a regular. Like, become part of the community.
All right, so we're on to the next.
That's Path to Glory. Pretty much done. The reward stables, you roll those whenever your Path to Glory campaign determines, so.
Okay.
So, pretty straightforward. And now into War Scrolls.
Woo!
So in Age of Sigmar, you have your battalions, so there are no detachments. You have a fixed number of things you can bring, and it's all dependent on the points values you're playing. 15 to 2,000 points, you can take 3 to 6 characters, any number of battle line units, but you must have at least one, and I believe 3 to 6 other units. So
Kind of reminds me of 30K in a sense.
it's kind of like super simplified.
Yeah.
The battalions, they are just there to give you abilities and to give you like extra relics and stuff. So yeah, like they're pretty straightforward. Let's see. Yeah, updated 2021. So every war scroll that's in this book supersedes every other war scroll that exists.
Yep.
And if you have the app for Age of Sigmar Azir, you'll get all of these the day that the book officially releases, whether or not you actually buy the book. So you just don't get the battalion's rules, but you do get the list building aspect.
Now let's get that for 40K and get that
app fixed.
Well, I mean, it's not bad. It's just not great yet.
It's just Battlescribe is better.
Yes,
Okay,
right now.
that's fair. Okay, so this is your quote-unquote super battalion. So it's the Hedonite host for organization. So things you must have in it. It's at least 1 Supreme Sybarites battalion, 1 Epicurean Revelers, up to 3, 1 Seeker Cavalcade, up to 3. So the super battalions, they're made up of other battalions. And you get +1 bravery. In addition, the battalion is part of your army. The start of your hero phase, you receive D3 depravity points.
Ooh, that actually sounds good.
So yeah, if you take some of those, which with pretenders, your Supreme Sybarites detachment goes down to 1 instead of needing 3 minimum. So it's a pretty doable detachment for that. And here's the rest of the battalions. So you've got the Supreme Sybarites, which we already talked about. Like you get an extra command point if you roll less than the number of heroes you have. So bring a lot of heroes. The Epicurean Revelers, 2 to 6 Demonettes, 0 to 4 Hellflayers, Exalted Chariots, or units of Fiends in any combination.
Excuse me.
So yeah, and this is. What is it? If you make a hit roll of a 6, you inflict 1 mortal wound, and the attack sequence ends.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not 100% familiar with how this stacks with the roll a 6 to get additional hits. If I remember correctly, it's you roll the 6, one of the attacks does a mortal wound, the other one is a normal hit. But I cannot always remember, because Hedonites got FAQ'd a lot this last edition.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Seeker Cavalcade, so this is the other one that's required for your Super Battalion. 2 to 6 units of Seekers. Blitzbarb, Slickblade, or Hellstriders in any combination. 0 to 4 Chariots. So if you want to have D3 depravity points, you need 3 heroes, you need 2 units of Demonettes, and 2 units of Seekers, Blitzbarbs, or something else. And the Seeker Cavalcade, you get to pile in, what is it? So you get to pile in 6 of an enemy instead of 3, and you can move an extra 3 inches when they pile in. So, okay. You're eligible to fight if you're within 6, and then you get to pile in 6. Oh. So you don't actually have to charge an enemy. You just get to pile in. Which could be really fun. It means if you end your move within 6 inches, you're guaranteed to fight them, even if you somehow manage to fail your charge. That could be pretty handy. But so for the low cost of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units total, plus the 3 battalions, you can take your super battalion. That's really cool. That's really fun. The Depraved Carnival. This is your mortals from the upcoming releases. So it's your Lord of Pain, your Shard Speakers. You gotta have 3 of them, any combination, and exactly 3 units of archers. Once per turn, you can pick 1 Blitzbarb archer from this battalion. That unit can shoot. So that is the old Cunning Ruck for folks who played Age of Sigmar in their first edition, where Savage Orcs had the same essential battalion. Theirs was only 1 hero and up to 3 archers, but pretty much you'd have a Savage boss yell at a unit and they would get to all shoot again. So you would take one boss, a big mob of archers, and then 2 small units of archers, and you just have the big mob throwing like 30, 40 dice. Like,
jeez.
Twice a turn. So, but in Depraved Carnival, you get that, once per turn. Pick one. Just pick one. And it gets to do it. You don't have to have the heroes anywhere near them. The heroes just have to exist at the start of the game. Because it doesn't even say, you don't even have to have the hero alive to do it. You just have to have the battalion rule. So if all the heroes die, but the Bliss Barbs are still running around, one of them gets to shoot twice. Let's see, Nobles of Excess. So this is your Myrmidish and your Simbaresh, Painbringers and Twin Souls, respectively. You get to reroll wounds for attacks. Yeah, as long as you made a charge.
Also, I like the fact that they call them Twin Souls, which is a non-binary term.
Yeah, their lore also kind of reflects that, so it's kind of cool. Like,
It's neat.
I like that they're doing more stuff. So, Exalted Speed Knights.
Too fast, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Why was that to the tune of Flintstones?
They're the same beat.
Are they? Wow.
Sonic, he's really cool. Sonic, he's got an attitude. It's the Flintstones theme song, just slightly faster. You're welcome for that.
Gotta go fast. All right.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster.
Faster, Sonic.
Wow. We are nerds. You know what the best part is?
I definitely grew up in the 90s, yeah.
I didn't watch those shows, and I know the theme songs.
Yeah, no, it just came on Saturday morning cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Focus. This is your Everything's on a Seeker battalion. So 2 units of Bliss Barbs, 2 units of Slick Blades, 2 units of Seekers, up to 3 of any of those. You get a D6... Yeah, after armies are set up, but before the first battle round, up to D6 units from this battalion can move up to 6 inches.
Oh.
So D6 units get a 6-inch move.
And they move, what, 14? 12?
They get a 6-inch move.
No, I mean their normal movement.
Oh, they're normal? I think... Well, actually, I don't know for the Bliss Barbs and the Slick Blades, because they're new. But Seekers, I think, have a, 13, 14.
Ooh.
Something around
we'll
there.
see in
They're
just
quick.
a second.
So yeah, so there's all your battalions. Keeper of Secrets.
Ooh, she has a 4-up save.
Yes, she has a 4-up save. In Age of Sigmar, demons have armor.
Nice.
Yeah. AP is a lot harder to come by. Like, the rend on a Keeper of Secrets is 1 in most instances.
Okay.
That's elite levels of infantry sort of things. There aren't really 2-up armor saves in Age of Sigmar, so a little less rend is not the worst thing in the world. You do hit on 2s with the Keeper still, if you're bringing the Ritual Knife and the Sinistrous Hand. But as we've seen, there's lots of abilities that give you an additional, +1 to hit. So you can be +1 to hit with the, Impaling Claws, a +1 to hit with the Great Blade. So be hitting on 2s.
I do like that they got range.
Yes, there's all sorts of melee ranges in AOS. So you'll have units like the Lumineth Spearmen, where they have a 3-inch range on the entire unit. That is a really great way to get multiple people into combat, because you measure, your model towards an enemy model or within an inch of a friendly model.
Ooh.
So if you have a 3-inch reach and you're on 28mm bases, you can reach over 2 ranks of guys and still fight, and the rank behind you can fight as well because they're within an inch of you.
All right.
That's why, if you're taking a big unit of things and they have an option between spears and swords, you'll usually take the spears on the big unit because more of them get to fight in that case. If you're
Makes sense.
Yeah, if you're taking small units, take the small knives. So, yeah, if everybody wants to, go ahead and pause this. Get it out of your system now. Ooh and ah. But yeah, not a ton here to go over. It is a Keeper of Secrets. It is really big, scary, they, them.
Yeah.
Best of luck if it charges you. Life gets real hard. And they're not bad casters either, but they're greater demons. All greater demons are the good units in a faction. The Great Unclean Ones, the Bloodthirsters, the Changer of Ways. They're all solid for what their factions want to do.
Yep.
Alright. Then we've got Celeste. Celeste still has 2 different weapon profiles. But unlike in 40k, where you just get like 8 flat attacks with everything, you get 4 attacks with the axe, 8 attacks with the whip.
Oh, it's
So it is much more separated out.
So the axe is actually it's D3 damage. Wow.
It's D3 damage, yeah.
Wow, she's actually they are actually better in 40k.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
But then again, everybody is kind of on a lower power scale in Age of Sigmar. So it lets people who should be amazing at something be amazing. They have a design philosophy in AOS that lets people do stuff. Like 2-up armor save is unheard of in this game.
That's fair.
And it makes sense because everyone is magical. Like in the mortal realms, you are living on a flying disc of coalesced magic. The food
Flat Earthers are right.
Well, in this one case, they're right about Age of Sigmar cosmology. And it's all crazy and weird, and we could talk about that for a long time. But yeah, just know that, Celeste is really good, though. Because you do get a ton of attacks that still hit on 3s, wounding on 4s, rend on all the different attacks. You've got that, nice demon save. You've got keywords for days. You know, you still get the Herald, you still get the Wizard, you still get the Hero, you still get Demon. Mm-hmm. You still get Demonette.
Really?
Yeah, Demonette is a keyword that you get on Celeste. Right?
Yeah, there it is.
There is a Demonette in there. The only one you don't get is Mortal, because neither one of them is Mortal anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, also, they just have a really great command ability of just, hey, this unit is not going to take Battleshock tests.
Okay.
I'm just not going to lose the other half of that 30, person unit just because I already lost 15 of them. Yeah, so it's super handy. Shalaxi? I don't know, if Shalaxi could actually fight, Scarbrand in AOS, but I'd love to sit down and, run through the numbers on it.
Yeah, isn't Scarbrand an actual tabletop, a monster?
Scarbrand is pretty good in Blades of Corn.
Yeah.
The only reason that I've noticed in our local community that people don't take him is because you don't get to summon him with Blood Tithe. So you either play with that you're going to take all the Blood Tithe, or you play the characters who you don't usually get to summon.
That's fair.
Yeah. Contorted Epitome.
Contorted Epitome is always such a beautiful model.
Yeah, it's really pretty. The Infernal Enraptress, with all the tendons and ligaments being pulled out of that man's back.
Are they still HQs? In this game it doesn't matter.
In this game it matters if they are heroes.
Yeah.
So, yes, they are still heroes, but hero is a loose term. There are things in the game that are heroes that would, in 40k, be elites. Mm-hmm. In my Destruction factions, my War Docs, my Shamans, they would normally be, more like an elite choice. Because those are essentially my pain boys.
Yeah.
But in AOS, all the heroes are lumped into one big category together. Your categories in AOS are leaders, battle line, other, and behemoths.
She actually moves slower than her 40k equivalent.
Yeah, the dude does have to shuffle around on his knees.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get to go very far playing a harp. You still get to go very fast compared to someone else playing a harp.
That's fair.
Mask still exists. Let's see. So, Vice Leader, that's your dismounted herald. Bladebringer on Hellflayer. Bladebringer on Secret Chariot. All sorts of fun stuff.
I like how it's the same image.
Yeah. Well, they pretty much are. It's just who's pulling it that changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They still have the, on the Bladebringer, at least who's on the Secret Chariot, you still have the, on a 2-up deal, D3 mortal wounds when you finish a charge.
Yep.
So, and they're all still wizards. Yeah, they all get to cast one, and they all get to try to unbind / deny the witch for one.
And there's the Bladebringer.
Yeah, there's the Bladebringer. We've still got the Hellflayers. We've still got the Secret Chariots. You still cannot run away from the Secret Chariot.
Ooh, I wish I would bring that to 40k.
You can run away, but you don't, because it can retreat and charge anyways. So
Yeah.
if you retreat first, you don't get to charge, and it still gets to charge you. So you don't run away from Seeker Chariots. Just fight them and kill them. They're only 6 wounds.
Yeah.
Like, they only have a 4-up save. Invulnerable saves, also not really a thing in Age of Sigmar. The only thing that has a quote-unquote invulnerable save are the Ghost factions. They have the Ephemeral rule, which says that you can't modify their saves. So while these are all 4-up and 5-up saves, you know, a Demonette fights a Demonette, they're both Rend 1, they have a 6-up save.
Yeah, that's fair.
But there is an ability that's just like, hey, +1 to your save. And it's a generic spell, so usually something that can be fixed easy. You still get to charge and run on the same turn with the Demonette. You don't need a hero to do it, you just get to.
I do like how they do the hit and wound in this game.
Yeah, it's all fixed value stuff.
Yep.
That has led to a lot of the simplicity in this game because, like, the baseline profile is just this. Like, you don't have to memorize all this, you just have to memorize that.
Yeah.
This will change depending on what your unit's outloaded with. And if you have more than one weapon on a model, you get to fight with all of them. It's not like, oh, I'm going to pick my Thunderhammer and then I'm going to pick my Chainsword. It's like, no, like, just go down your profile. So when a Fiend fights, it gets its Pincers and it gets its Barbed Stinger.
Okay.
So you have 4 attacks that hit on 3s, wound on 3s, and then you have 1 attack that has longer inch range, but also has the Venom rule, where essentially you can just deal extra damage by rolling higher than the target's characteristic for wounds. So yeah, so that's all fun. Seekers, Hellstriders, these are the older models that you'll find out there. So when you're playing this game, don't get these confused for the new ones, the new the Slick Blades and the Blissbringers. These are the old guys.
Okay.
And yeah, there are your Seekers. I know how much you love them.
I do. I have like 90 of them.
Yeah, and you know, they're not bad in AOS. Just saying.
4+ to wound. Yeah, they're much better in AOS than they are in 40k.
Yeah.
14-inch move, same. 2 wounds apiece is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Bravery of 10, which is really good. And a 5+ save. Yeah, they're pretty much the same.
Yeah. Roll 2d6 instead of d6 when you make a run roll.
Ooh, they're better.
Yep. And you can still run and charge the same turn without needing a Demon Prince near you.
Oh, so they're just better.
Yeah, they're just a little bit better.
Okay.
And also you get to add 1 to your attacks for every time that you kill something, if I remember. Yeah, if an enemy model were slain by wounds inflicted by its unit's attacks in the combat phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this unit's melee weapons in the following combat phase.
Okay, so it's really good.
So yeah, kill things and get more attacks.
So let's see, they all move 14, so 14 plus 3 is
17.
17, so your first turn charge at minimum being 24.
Well, you get a 6-inch move if you're in that battalion.
Oh, it's 6-inch.
It's 6-inch
so this
move,
is
yeah.
20 inches. So your
It's
first
D6,
turn charge is...
It's D6 units get a 6-inch move.
Okay, so your first turn charge for them is 4 inches.
I mean, yeah, you're moving 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are mission setups in AOS that are like, there's 18-inch gaps between
Yeah,
sides
so
of the board.
you're just getting there.
And if you're playing meeting engagements, they can be even smaller.
All right.
So yeah, Seekers will get there. But you are taking the battalion to do that, so you are taking 6 individual units.
Worth.
Yeah, well, we'll find out, won't we?
Yes.
Glutos.
Glutos Maximus.
Glutos Arscolion. The Lord of Gluttony. The Grand Gourmand himself. I'm actually really excited about this unit. There's an existing trend going on in Age of Sigmar where you get what are called character units. And it is a bunch of people on one base. And as you take wounds, you lose abilities.
Yeah, like the Triumph of St. Catherine.
Like the Triumph of St. Catherine, which came out after, Catacross. Catacross, the Ossiarch-Bone Reaper's general.
Yeah.
I like that the trend is continuing. I really like how Gluteus is laid out. Or Glutos, not Gluteus. Glutos. Like glucose. Because he eats a lot.
Get it?
Get it? So yeah. Glutos has 4 companions. He's got someone who feeds him, which is... Oh, that's right. The little creature is unnamed. You can see the little creature like actually holding a little plate out to Glutos in all of his art.
It's amazing.
You've got a Painbringer, Kiaru, who is the last person to die.
Kiaru Reeves.
He is the best.
He killed somebody with a pencil.
I mean, I would believe it. You've got your Lashmaster, Vishek, who's can be seen at the front, waving a little lash around, and then you also have a priestess on your Pelican as well, who is Doleche. Wait, yeah, it's Priestess Doleche. All right, so there you go. If you ever wanted a unit with tons of puns, there you go. But as you like maintain wounds, so you have all of your folks. You lose somebody, you lose somebody, you lose somebody. And your abilities steadily get worse and worse and worse. You always keep the mutants, you always keep Glutos.
Okay.
And Glutos' whole mechanic is, he is the Grand Gourmand, as I've been saying. He gains abilities throughout the battle, based off of what he's eating at the time.
Add 1 to the bravery within 6. The units can still...
Yeah,
can run and still charge later in the turn, in the same turn. Does not take battle shock tests for friendly mortal Hedonites units wholly within 12 inches of this model, which is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're all themed off of stuff. So aperitif, that's his appetizer. He has a starter, a main course.
Oh my god, a dessert.
Yeah, his dessert is pretty fun because he can change a spell that he took at the start of the game for another one within the Lore of Pain and Pleasure table. So if you suddenly need, like, oh, I really need that ability that gives a +1 to hit to all these units, okay, swap it out on Battle Round 4. And you get to cast an extra spell for the rest of the game. In Round 5, you get to re-roll your casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls. So all of those really annoying, like, predatory spells that your opponent can just spawn on the table, he has an extra chance of getting rid of them in case he doesn't beat the casting value. So, that is super solid. Notice he doesn't get anything else after Battle Round 5. Usually after Battle Round 5, the games are starting to wind down to begin with. He is always a -1 to being attacked, and he exudes that aura to all enemy units within 12. So if you are an enemy and you're within 12 of Glutos, you are -1 to hit.
And he's got a massive base.
And he's on a giant circular base. So
is that 100 mil?
I think it's 100, yeah. It looked like it's about the same size as the Maw Crusher's base.
Yeah.
And then he's got the Lear Staff of Lothshar. That is the demon they made his deal with. +1 to casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls.
It's really good.
It's really good. So that ability that, oh, I need a 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then he's got his Painbringers.
Yep, so these are the companion abilities. So you have these abilities as long as these people are alive. So the Painbringer deals mortal wounds. And it's just, when an unmodified wound roll for an attack made with this model's Wailing Greatblade is 6, deal 2 mortal wounds, and stop the attack sequence. So instead of you having to roll like armor or anything like that, which your weapon's pretty solid on the Wailing Greatblade to begin with. 3 attacks that hit on 3s, wound on 3s, -2, flat damage 2. So just, hey, here's an extra little bonus. You know, if you happen to roll a 6 to wound, your opponent won't get any of their armor saves. They just go through. The Lashmaster gives you rerolls for charges, which is really handy considering you can run and charge starting on turn 2.
And does that affect everybody near him?
No, it's just him.
Okay, but still pretty good.
Yeah, and then we've got the Priestess, and she can pray. Praying in Age of Sigmar is just an ability. You don't have to pay command points for it. It's not a spell, so you usually can't interact with your opponent's prayers. But there's a chance that their prayers go unanswered. She gets her prayers off on a 2, which is pretty good. Like, most other casters usually get them on a 3.
Okay.
And it's just a 5-up, feel no pain.
Okay.
Yeah, on 18 wound model with a 3-up save. So
good luck killing it.
He's pretty chunky. He's also -1 to being hit at all times. if you're within 12 of him. So
Oh, and you have to remove certain ones, so it's not like the...
yeah, you don't get to pick and choose. The first
so
person
it's not
you
like
lose...
the Triumph of St. Catherine where you choose.
Yeah, no, you lose the Priestess first, then you lose the Lashmaster, and then you lose the Painbringer.
Which I have a feeling they're going to do this exact thing with the Triumph of St. Catherine. It would only make sense.
It makes sense. It simplifies the gameplay quite a bit, so you do have that 5-up Feel No Pain, but you only get it for 4 wounds.
Yeah.
Because once you're gone, like, yeah, you need the Priestess around.
Yeah.
His command ability is pretty nifty. You get to pick 1 friendly Hedonite unit, so that's anything in the book. They have to be wholly within 12 of you, but until your next turn, if an enemy unit is destroyed by their attacks, and there are wounds that remain to be, like, allocated to that unit, so ideal 16 damage worth of wounds to 1 model.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's a 1 wound model. I have 15 left over. So I can allocate to that enemy from that attack, heal up to that same number of wounds allocated to that Hedonite unit. So my Keeper Secret deals all that damage, has all these extra wounds left over. Just gets to heal.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm assuming it goes back up to its starting value.
Yeah, it just goes up to starting value.
No more Doom of Malentine mistakes.
No, yeah, they learned their lesson the hard way.
Where the Doom of Malentine was casting level 20 spells.
Yeah, just a strength 10 headbutt from the Doom.
Yep.
And then he's got his own unique spell, and it's Crippling Banishment. It goes off on 7. Pick an enemy unit within 18. They have their move, they have their run, they have their charge.
So the Lord of Gluttony gives famine to somebody.
Yes.
That's amazing.
He gets to imbue them with the pain of hunger that he feels all the time. So you have actually a lot of really good control pieces in Slaanesh. You have Glutos' like in-belt magic. You have any greater demon can take the stupidity spell. And that's 2 ways of locking down
multiple units.
Like multiple units. Like, granted, the stupidity one is only a hero, but heroes in this game are a huge aspect.
Yeah.
And that one is a straight up like, hey, they do not get to run, charge, or move.
This one could just cut them in half.
Yeah, this one just makes it so that, oh, you want to chase my Blitz Barbs with your Sigvald? Okay, how about no? You don't get to. And there's no rolling over bravery or anything. This one just happens. It happens on 7, which is a 6 for him because he gets +1. And yeah, like he's really solid. I like him quite a bit. And he has all the usual keywords. So he does count as a wizard. So just always be aware whenever it comes to these big models. He is a wizard. He is a hero. He is mortal. So all those keyword abilities that trigger off those, like Gordrak's Axe, that kills wizards real good, be warned.
Yeah.
Alright, and here's all the new folks.
The humans.
Humanish
stuff.
Mostly humans. Alright, so this is the first time I'm getting to see Sigvald's full rules displayed. I imagine it's similar for you.
I thought he would take up like a whole page.
Yeah, right? But here's the thing that's jumping out to me first. He's immortal.
Oh.
He's immortal and not a wizard.
I thought it would be the assless chaps.
You know what? That's fair. So let's go over Sigvald. He's got 6 wounds, 6-inch move, so he's about as fast as you'd expect from the mortals. He does have a 3-up armor save, which is, a Warriors of Chaos save, and he's Bravery 9. He's got 1 weapon, Shard Slash, which I will point out for lore purposes is not the sword he died with in the Warhammer Fantasy world. Sliver Slash was his old sword, and that is long gone. But this one does hit on 2s with a 3 to wound, -2 rend, and D3 damage. And Shard Slash has some really great abilities. You can't negate wounds inflicted by Shard Slash.
Wait, how many attacks does he get with it?
He gets 5 minimum.
Okay.
Or however, like whatever the dice roll was for a charge he made that turn, he gets that.
Oh, yes.
So he can get 12 attacks.
Yeah,
with
if you
Shard
roll
Slash.
a 12.
Or he could get 5. He could get 5 attacks, but he's not going to get 3. He's not going to get 2. He's not going to get 1.
So his min is 5.
His minimum is 5. He can only go up from there. It is important to note that he does add 3 to all of his charge rolls, but it is the unmodified dice value.
Okay.
So, Like, if you roll a 12 on the dice, cool, he's not getting 15. He gets to charge 15, but he gets 12 attacks.
I'm assuming it's the same as 40k, where you can only charge things within 12.
Yes, but you can place him within 15 then.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is a big difference. Let's see. Yeah, and you don't get to negate wounds. Like, you still get to roll for your armor. But if you have a feel no pain, you don't get it against Sigvald. So he's an amazing character killer because he is throwing -2 rend and D3 damage a hit.
Okay.
So yeah, and you get to roll a dice for each time you take a wound. On a 4-up, you just ignore it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get him. Like, once he comes out, I'm buying him instantly.
Oh yeah, and that's wounds and mortal wounds. So, which is pretty great, and I think there's only one other thing for him. Yeah, he fights at the start of the combat phase.
Shield, is that it?
Yeah,
Please tell me that is a reference to Don Quixote.
No. Okay. So allow me to explain Sigvald the Magnificent.
Oh wait, no, he looks into it because he's beautiful.
Yeah. He had a unit of Chaos Warriors in the old version of him called the Mirror Guard. And they would shine their shields to a mirror finish so that he could stop and look at himself whenever he wanted to. This was reflected in Sigvald's old rules because he had the rule Stupidity, where he would just stop and stare at himself for too long.
What is he, Johnny Bravo?
He really kind of was. Like, Sigvald was everything that you ever thought about toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I definitely attribute assless chaps to toxic masculinity.
I mean, yeah. Like, he was not always assless. He's grown much since those old days.
Sigvald, he took off his pants. He doesn't have stupidity anymore. He has no pants.
All right, well, so, Glorious Reborn, because this is actually really important for how you would want to use this guy. So this model fights at the start of the combat phase if it made a charge move in the same turn. So he always fights at the start.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot fight again in that phase unless an ability or spell allows it to fight more than once. So, similar to like in 40k, we have alternating activations. However, when you charge, it does not always mean you get to go first.
Okay.
This says, I will fight first.
Ooh. Yeah, that can be dirty.
So, yeah. So,
just insta-gib a character.
Yep, and since you made the charge, you're going to be the player with priority, so Sigvald always gets to fight first.
Yep.
So, yeah, that could be phenomenal. You got your Lord of Pain. His War Scroll hasn't been updated since the Shadow and Pain box, so he is everything that you're expecting. He gives out rerolls.
Okay, so kind of like a Demon Prince in 40k.
Yeah. Important note, it is a command ability, so it's not static. You do have to pay a command point every turn to make sure it happens.
Oh, okay.
And it's only one unit within 12. Yeah, wholly within 12, they get to reroll hits. So
I noticed that AOS uses a lot of Holy Within.
Yes, there's a lot of Holy Within terminology. It keeps people from, being rules lordy.
Yeah, fair.
It's a very stripped down, simplified system. So Age of Sigmar is very easy to learn. I think the core rules are still only 4 pages, but it really is only 4 pages you need.
It's fair.
Yeah, it's not. Here's 4 pages on how psychic powers work. Which, speaking of, let's get to the new caster for Slaanesh, the Shard Speaker. So yeah, they run around with a piece of glass from the Temple of Twisted Mirrors. They get the Mist Lurkers. So whenever you cast a spell that is not unbound, so you must successfully cast it and your opponent can't dispel it, until your next hero phase, you can attack using the Shadow Cloaked Claws. And you get to add
Jutsu, got it.
And you get to add 2 to your save rolls. So your save goes from a 5 up to a 3 up.
Okay.
Your attacks go from being 1 inch range to 2. From 2 attacks to 4. That hit on wound on 3s with more rend, but only 1 damage apiece.
So this thing quite literally just puts its hands together and goes Shadow Clone Jutsu.
I mean, it's more of you're tapping into the realm of death and siphoning off some of the powers locked in the Shade Glass as, ghosts. But yeah.
Okay, so the original Full Metal Alchemist where they pulled
yeah,
where they pulled souls from the other realm.
It's the original truth.
That was actually a really cool twist. I like that. Instead of the
was.
tectonic activity underneath the ground, which then turned out to be Father,
Yeah.
which was really confusing.
Anyways.
And then they still allowed them to do
Go
welcoming
watch
afterward.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It's good.
Yeah, it is.
We swear. Okay, yeah, you have the Twisted Mirror. This is just an ability you get once per turn in the shooting phase. On a 3-up, a unit within 9 gets +1 to wound rolls for attacks that target that unit. So pick an enemy within 9 on 3, +1 to wound.
All right.
So have Sigvald wound on 2s.
That's dirty.
That's real funny. You cannot pick them. You cannot pick the same unit more than once per turn. So if you have 3 shard speakers, you don't get +3 to wound something. You get +1 to wound 3 things.
I wonder if I could take Sigvald's cape off and put demon wings on him.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure you can.
that's
It all
gonna be-
depends on how much of his hair is attached to the cape.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that'll be the limiting factor.
And then the Bliss Barb.
Oh yeah. One last thing. You do get the Reflection Eternal spell on her. -1 to wound rolls for attacks made by a target enemy unit.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So you can +1 all of the attacks against somebody, and then -1 all of the wound rolls coming from them. So, yeah. Make your guys more deadly, make them less so. And yeah, Bliss Barbs. On a 6, whenever they're attacking on wound rolls, because it's poison, take a mortal wound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and they have bows.
They have bows, yep. They get to run and shoot also. So 14-inch, like, they could potentially get the 6-inch free move, which would then guarantee they're in range at the start of their turn, but with an 18-inch range, 3 shots per bow, like, yeah, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, they go in 14. They're going to be in range turn 1.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be something that you prioritize killing because...
And 3 attacks, and you can make them attack again.
Yeah, and you can have them shoot again.
How many in a unit?
Well, so whenever you look at Age of Sigmar profiles, they'll always say any number. It's all the way in the back where the points are given. Because remember,
Okay.
AOS technically doesn't have points in the baseline version. You're just supposed to agree with your opponent how much to play.
Okay, so we have the Slick Blades, and these are the guys with the pointy sticks.
Yep, they're the ones with the glaives. They get to re-roll their charges, and they also do the on a 6 to wound, they deal an additional mortal wound. Painbringers, these are your new big tough boys. They are multi-wound.
Yeah, these should have been called Hedonites. Just saying. I'm making the joke again. I know.
Alright, sure, make the joke again. Make the
It's
joke.
still a good joke.
I mean, that was arguable the first time.
Look.
Anyways, these are your, like, they are the Slaaneshi, like, devotees that aren't given themselves into excess. They actually focus on restricting themselves. And so they, like, by depriving themselves all the excesses they could take, they focus and hone their martial craft. So that's the whole story behind these boys.
That's similar to Mariel Sabathiel, where she has no body. Like, she's literally just bound to her armor and has a face.
Yeah.
But because of that, she can't feel.
Yeah.
That's why she can wield 2 demon weapons.
See, there you go.
She's one of one character. There's one other character who can wield 2 demon weapons in all of Chaos.
Angron.
No, Abaddon.
Abaddon...
Because technically,
is the
Mariel...
Talon of Horus?
Yeah, it's now a demon weapon.
Huh, there we go. Okay. So, unmodified wound rolls...
Well, it might not be a demon weapon, but it definitely has some spooky aspects of it that is very similar to a
it's
demon
too
weapon.
Spoopy. We'll check that later.
Gives the spook to Blood Angels.
Gives the real spook to Blood Angels. So, Myrmidish, more, like, additional mortal wounds on 6s to wound. So, you have, like, the old style poison rules pretty much across all of the mortals. However, you get to re-roll saves for attacks made with melee weapons that target this unit. So you have a 4-up re-rollable save.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, so, like, if we're looking at things like, clan rats. I always go to Skaven because clan rats are just, they're not great. They have Ren 0 on some of their weapons, and Ren 0 is a fairly common thing on, like, most chaff infantry. So you're getting a 4-up re-rollable save. Even if you're getting, like, Rend -2, you still have a 6-up rerollable to try and save on your multi-wound knights.
You know, now I'm thinking about it, I can think of a few other characters that are wielding 2 demon weapons. So ignore what I last said.
On the next video, we'll cover those. People who are too badass for no good reason.
Yeah, because Kion wields like 80 of them. Because he has a tarot deck.
Yeah, okay.
And each one is a demon weapon.
Moving on.
And then he has his sword.
Moving on.
And then he has his 2 demons.
Madam.
Sorry, he walks around with freaking Lehman Russ's mother's body imbued with a demon.
Yeah.
Although it's not specifically said it's his mother.
If you're a demon host in 40k, do you have 2 demon weapons just because you had 2 hands?
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm about to catch these hands.
About to catch all the demon imbued hands.
Do you want to fight me? Do you want to catch these hands? I'll fight you in the street.
All right, Cimberous Twin Souls. Moving on.
No matter where we meet. I'll kick your ass. Okay, come on.
Okay. You good?
Sterling, you have to stop distracting me with hilarious things.
I really am the problem here, aren't I?
Yes.
All right, Cimberous Twin Souls. These are the Painbringers who fail. These are the ones who give in to their drive to like seek excess and experiences. And so they end up binding themselves to lesser demons of Slaanesh. So they, like, in a very literal sense, are twin souls. So you do have to pick an ability. They get 2 different choices for them. They can either reroll hit rolls in melee, or you get a 5-up Feel No Pain. So at the start of your hero phase, you just got to pick for each unit of Cimberish that you have.
Okay, I think the Feel No Pain is a little bit better.
Feel No Pain's a little bit better, but you also only hit on a 4-up.
Ooh.
You have a 2-inch range, 3 attacks, but you hit on a 4, but you are flat damage 2.
Ooh. Yeah, these guys are only damage 1.
Yep, they're only damage 1, but they have rend, but they're also range 1, and 1 less attack.
Okay.
So, yes, welcome to Age of Sigmar, where your unit choices super matter. Blitzbarb Archers, are you ready for this? Are you ready for what they get to do? They get to run and shoot in the same turn.
That just sounds good.
Yeah, it's the same thing they had when they were on the Seekers.
They actually look like the best troops.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they get to be battle line. I'm fairly certain they do. But their other big thing is that as long as you have a homunculus, yeah, Blitzbrew homunculus. So this is the guy they previewed in all the photos carrying the big old chalice with the liquid and the arrows pointing out of it. You get to add 1 to all of your wound rolls if you have a homunculus in your unit.
Okay, so it goes to a 3+ to wound with 2 attacks apiece from a unit that's probably in the 10s.
You have to be minimum 11 to have the homunculus.
Okay, so
it's
you
1
have
in every 11
unit.
guys. Yeah, so this will be a big unit that is getting +1. Note that the Blitzbrew homunculi buff doesn't stack. You get a +1 if you have any number of homunculi in the unit. So if you have a 33-man-woman unit of Blitzbarb Archers, and you have the 3 homunculi, that just means that 2 homunculi can die before you have to start worrying about casualties and losing your bonus.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
The ones... Oh, yeah, these have 3 attacks with their bows.
Yes.
These ones have 2.
Yes. They're walking. It's clearly harder to shoot fast when you're walking.
What?
All right. Slangor Fiendbloods.
These guys are awesome.
This is honestly the unit I got most excited for.
3 wounds apiece, too.
Yeah, 3 wounds apiece. So they're getting up there in terms of being big infantry. They all hit on 4s because they are Beasts of Chaos. So, you can't have everything nice. You do wound on 3s. You do have rend on all of your attacks. There is one small difference. The Slakehorn, so the leader, they get a claw and their gilded weapon. Everyone else just gets claws.
Okay.
So, yeah. So the gilded weapon just has less range, but does a flat 2 damage on each of its attacks. So essentially your unit leader is getting 2 additional attacks, which is pretty nice. You get +1 to your attacks characteristics of all of your unit's melee weapons if you charged. So you go up to 4 attacks each with your claws, including your sergeant, and then your sergeant gets 3 gilded weapon attacks. So a unit of 3 of these guys.
Doesn't he get the claws and the...
He gets the claws and the sword.
So that dude has 5 attacks that go up to 7 attacks in total.
Yep. So the unit champion has 7 attacks on the charge. Everybody else has 4.
Damn.
And so when you pile in, you pick an enemy unit within 3, and you roll a dice. For each 4 up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound, and it is per model.
Oh.
So you pick a unit within 3, and then roll a dice for each model in this unit. So that's your Fiend Blood's unit. On a 4 up, you just kill something.
Huh. They're really good.
Yeah, and that's after all of your crazy attacks. Like, we'll have to see how points break down, but they also have the Beasts of Chaos keyword. So you could take these in a standard Beastman army and be totally fine.
That's actually really cool.
So I like that that's been added in. Now we just need the Korngors and the Nurgle-Gors to come back, and we can have a whole party.
Yep.
And then the Dread Pageant. This is your Dire Chasm Warcry, like, slash starter sort of thing. It has the same standard mock-up as all of the Underworld's teams do. Like, it is a character unit. You only ever get the one of them. And they're just kind of there to be cheap. Because you only have, like, 4 or 5 models.
Yeah.
Let's see. You get... Yeah, so Vasilak, who is the character who leads the Dread Pageant, has 2 wounds. Everyone else has 1.
Oh, it says add 2 to his wound characters.
So he has 3, and everyone else has 1. And let's see. It's always made up of the same models. Slake Slash also gets 3 wounds.
Yay, Slake Slash.
So Slake Slash becomes a normal Fiend Blood. And then you get to roll a dice each time you allocate a wound. On a 4-up, negate it. So it's a 4 individual model unit that has a 4-up Feel No Pain, which is pretty good. And on a 6, you inflict an additional mortal wound.
All right, that's okay.
So, and it's just for an attack made by this unit is 6. So it's not amazing, but I can almost guarantee they're going to be like 90 points because that's how much all of those have been. And then we get to your endless spells because, Alexis, I don't know if you knew this, magic lives in Age of Sigmar. Yeah. It's actually alive and crazy, and that's what the endless spells are. They are spells that somebody cast, thinking that they were going to expire in a round, and then they didn't.
They're just kind of hung out.
Yeah. And some of them become predatory, and they chase people. So, you know, normal things.
I really want to get that giant fire snake, paint it up as Manda from Naruto, and put Sasuke on top of it, summoning it.
Oh, the daughter of Cane Snake. Okay. The Sniper Viper?
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Well, there's nothing really new here for the endless spells. These are the same ones that you had before. You have the Wheel, you have the Mesmerizing Mirror, and you have the Dreadful Visage. So, there you go. And now we get to points.
These always just reminded me of Bayonetta's summonings in her game.
Yeah, I never got around to that.
It's a really good game until Nintendo took it.
That's sad. Sad to hear. All right.
Somebody is furiously typing their keyboard like, oh, no.
It only got better.
Leave my 7-foot vampire hunting lady alone.
But the extent of my knowledge on Bayonetta is that she was really broken when she came to Smash. And that's about it.
The multiple meaning there are hilarious.
Okay. All right, so it looks like the Dread Pageant is actually 120 points because they have Fiend Blood in them, so they get a 30-point bump over most of the other Underworld teams. Your Battle Line units are your Demonettes.
That's it?
But no, because it depends on who your army consists of. And this is one of the big fun things to do in Age of Sigmar is figure out who your general is, because your general will unlock different Battle Line troops. So, if your general is a Lord of Pain, you get the Simbaresh Twin Souls as Battle Line.
Okay.
And the Myrmidish Painbringers as Battle Line. If you are a Slaanesh army, so like your army is a Slaanesh army, as in you are playing out of this book.
Yep.
Your Battle Line also includes Hellstriders with Claw Spears and Hellstriders with Hell Scourgers. And Blissbarb Archers. So you have a lot of battle line options. It just is worded that way because when you're talking about playing demons and chaos in general, you could take like a Wrath of the Everchosen style army and just like, oh, I'm taking things from all the chaos factions. But very few of them will be battle line if you like mix gods together, because the gods don't play together nicely.
I think I might just do a bunch of those archers.
It would definitely be a thing. Let's see. Oh, Seeker Chariots, if you are the God Seekers, so the faction that likes to go fast, they become battle line for you.
Ooh.
So there you go. That's pretty fun. Points-wise, doesn't look like anything got too crazy. Keeper of Secrets are 340. Shalaxi is a 310. So you get a slight discount for having a fixed loadout. You don't pay points for upgrades in this game.
Makes sense.
You pay points for extra models. Which, your max unit sizes. 30 go into Demonettes, 33 into Blissbarb Archers.
That's really cool.
Seekers for the Blissbarbs go up to 15.
Makes sense.
Let's see, your Fiend units are capped at 9 each.
Ooh, you can have 27.
Yeah, and then you're capped at 20 for all the other infantry in the faction. 20 for the Hellstriders, and 15 for the Slickblade Seekers. Your Fiendblood units, they go up to 9. So you can have a little, like, group of 9, essentially, like, baby Minotaurs running around the table.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's all of the unit profiles, and then your battalions. And this is what I was saying, like, it doesn't super matter what you end up taking, it just matters that you pay the points for the battalion. So, if you're taking the Dreadful Visage battalion, you're only ever allowed one of them.
Okay.
That's a joke. The Dreadful Visage is your endless spell.
Oh.
I just always
I'm
hate that they put them together like this.
Okay. I get it. I get it. I'm dumb.
Yeah, so your scenery, 0 points, 50, 60, and 40 for all of the endless spells. And then your battalions, looks like the most expensive one is the Epicurean Revelers at 180. Yeah, so... And the Supreme Symborites is 150. Ooh, so that's a little bit on the expensive side for bringing just a bunch of extra characters, but could still be real good. And then you have allies. And your allies are Beasts of Chaos, Nurgle, Slaves to Darkness, Tzeentch, and then Khorne units cannot be taken as allies for a Slaanesh army.
That makes sense.
So,
They hate each other.
unsurprisingly, you hate Khorne units. They hate you.
No nutritional value.
No nutritional value. And yeah.
That's it.
That's it for Hedonites.
Holy cow, that was a lot of stuff in that book.
There was a lot of new stuff in it, to be fair.
God, and just the artwork is so good in this book.
Yeah, the artwork for that one is real pretty. I am excited to see what's in the Daughter of Cain one.
But you'll have to check out the next video for that.
Well, they will. I won't.
That's true. We're going to be doing this right after. So, with that all said, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you want to support this channel, please check out all the links in the description down below. There you can follow me on all sorts of social media, including Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also check out my Patreon, where there's exclusive videos. Not for
this one.
Yeah. But there's exclusive videos going over a lot of my collection and background videos that a lot of people have been asking about. So, if you want to support me, patreon.com/NornQueenAlexis. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. Love you guys.